the pattern that repeats everywhere. Look closely at nature. A spiral shell on the beach, the arrangement of sunflower seeds, the swirling arms of distant galaxies. At first glance, they seem completely unrelated. One is tiny. One grows in a garden. And the other exists millions of light years away, in deep space. Yet when scientists study their structure, something extraordinary appears. They follow the same mathematical pattern, the same spiral, the same proportions, the same hidden order. It almost feels as if nature is repeating a design. Again and again, across completely different scales. But here is where the mystery becomes deeper. Long before modern mathematics discovered these patterns, ancient civilizations were already drawing them. They carved them into temples, painted them in sacred art, and used them in meditation practices. Across cultures, these patterns were known by a single idea: sacred geometry. But what exactly does that mean? Is sacred geometry simply spiritual symbolism? Or could it represent something far more profound, a hidden mathematical language behind nature itself? Modern science has begun to uncover fascinating clues. In the 20th century, mathematicians discovered a new branch of mathematics called fractal geometry. Fractals are patterns that repeat themselves, not just once, but endlessly. Zoom into a fractal pattern, and the same shape appears again. Zoom in further, and it repeats once more. The structure becomes infinitely detailed, yet the pattern always remains the same. This strange property is called self-similarity, and once scientists began looking for it, they realized something astonishing. Nature is full of fractals. The branching of trees follows fractal patterns. So do river networks, lightning bolts, cloud formations. Even the tiny airways inside the human lungs branch in fractal structures. It is as if nature prefers repeating designs rather than randomness. But fractals are not the only pattern scientists have discovered in nature. Another mysterious number appears again and again across the natural world. A number known as the golden ratio, approximately equal to 1.618. When shapes follow this ratio, they appear balanced, natural, almost aesthetically perfect. Artists have used it for centuries to design paintings and architecture. But the surprising part is that nature seems to use it too. The spirals of seashells, the arrangement of flower petals, the growth pattern of pine cones, even the proportions of many spiral galaxies. Again and again, this same ratio appears, almost as if the universe itself prefers this design. But here is where things become truly fascinating. Thousands of years before modern mathematics described fractals or the golden ratio, ancient spiritual traditions were already working with geometric patterns that resemble these ideas. In India, sacred geometry appears in the form of yantras, complex geometric diagrams used in meditation. Among them, one stands out as particularly mysterious: the Sri Yantra. At first glance, the Sri Yantra looks like a beautiful geometric drawing. Interlocking triangles, perfect symmetry, circles and lotus patterns surrounding the center. But mathematicians who studied its structure discovered something remarkable. The geometry of the Sri Yantra is extremely precise. So precise that drawing it perfectly is surprisingly difficult, even with modern tools. Yet this design has existed in Indian spiritual traditions for thousands of years. How did ancient sages construct such complex geometry without modern mathematics? Was it coincidence? Artistic intuition? Or did they understand something about patterns in nature that we are only beginning to rediscover? Because sacred geometry does not appear only in temples or spiritual diagrams. Look closely at a snowflake. Its structure forms perfect geometric symmetry. Observe the honeycomb of bees. Each cell forms a perfect hexagon, a shape that mathematicians know is the most efficient way to store space. Even crystals growing deep inside the earth organize themselves into geometric patterns. It is as if geometry is woven into the fabric of reality itself, from the smallest structures of matter to the vast architecture of galaxies. Which raises a profound question. What if the universe is not random chaos at all? What if it is built upon hidden mathematical patterns? Patterns that repeat, expand, and evolve across every scale of existence. Patterns that ancient cultures called sacred, and modern science calls mathematics. But if these patterns truly exist everywhere in nature, then a deeper mystery remains. Why? Why would the universe prefer certain shapes, certain proportions, certain repeating structures? Is it simply the most efficient way for nature to organize itself? Or could it reveal something deeper about the structure of reality itself? To explore that question, we must go deeper into the mathematics of nature, into the strange world of spirals, numbers, and patterns that seem to echo from DNA molecules all the way to the edges of the observable universe. And there, we may discover that sacred geometry is not just an ancient belief. It might be a glimpse into the hidden blueprint of existence itself. Would you like me to dive deeper into the golden ratio 1.618 and show you the spiral and nature's blueprint? Take a moment and look at a sunflower. Notice how the seeds spiral outward. Not randomly, not by accident. Each seed follows a precise mathematical rhythm. A rhythm that mathematicians call the Fibonacci sequence. 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21. Each number is the sum of the two before it. Simple, elegant, endless. But why does nature follow this sequence? Why do pine cones, pineapples, and even hurricanes reflect this same pattern? It turns out the Fibonacci sequence is not just a number series. It is a growth formula, a blueprint. It allows seeds to pack efficiently, leaves to capture sunlight optimally, branches to reach for maximum space. And when these spirals are drawn geometrically, they form the golden spiral, a shape that grows but maintains perfect proportion. Zoom in, zoom out, the spiral appears again and again. It is fractal, self-similar, infinite. Now let's dive even deeper. Inside every living being, there is a molecule that carries life itself, DNA. The double helix. Its structure is a spiral, a fractal of the same pattern we see in shells, flowers, and galaxies. Nature is whispering the same code from the smallest to the largest scale. Thousands of years ago, yogis in India noticed this harmony. They called it Yantra, geometric diagrams representing cosmic order. Each triangle, each circle, each intersection mirrors the patterns found in the natural world. The Sri Yantra, for example, is not merely decorative. Its interlocking triangles echo the spirals of the cosmos. Its symmetry reflects the balance seen in living systems. Meditating upon it aligns consciousness with these natural rhythms. Modern science calls it fractals and spirals. Ancient sages called it sacred. 2 languages, 1 reality. Now look up at the sky. Galaxies, too, form spirals. Hurricanes mirror the same golden spiral. The universe seems to repeat itself again and again, from the helix of DNA to the swirl of stars, from a seed to a storm. There is one rhythm, one design, one pattern. And as we observe it, we begin to sense something extraordinary, a connection, a harmony, a hidden order in what appears to be chaos. Perhaps the universe itself is a fractal symphony, a dance of geometry, mathematics, and consciousness. And by studying sacred geometry, we are not just admiring art. We are decoding the language of existence itself. Every spiral, every triangle, every proportion is a note in the music of the cosmos, a music that has been playing long before humans existed, and will continue long after. Fractals, nature's secret code. Look around, not just at flowers, shells, or galaxies, but at clouds drifting across the sky, the jagged streaks of lightning cutting through the night, the branching of rivers carving valleys, even the tiny neurons inside your brain. All follow the same repeating pattern. Fractals, patterns that scale, patterns that repeat. Zoom in or zoom out. The design is always there. Why? Because nature is not random. It is efficient. It is structured. Every branching tree, every river delta, Every network of lightning bolts is trying to achieve something simple: maximum function with minimum effort. And in doing so, it reveals the hidden geometry of reality. Even the human brain is fractal. Billions of neurons branching endlessly, forming networks that mirror the rivers, the lightning, the clouds. Our thoughts, emotions, memories, all emerge from this fractal web. Could it be that consciousness itself is built upon fractal geometry? That the universe is self-reflecting? Thousands of years ago, ancient yogis sensed this hidden order. They represented it in mandalas and yantras. These were not just spiritual drawings. They were visual codes of reality, patterns you could meditate upon, aligning your mind with the geometry of existence. Science calls it self-similarity, recursive patterns, and fractal mathematics. Spirituality calls it sacred geometry. Two perspectives, one truth. Now think about lightning. Electricity doesn't flow randomly. It branches in fractal paths to find the shortest route. Clouds organize themselves fractally to optimize moisture. Even blood vessels inside your body split fractally to deliver oxygen efficiently. Everything follows the same hidden blueprint. It is as if the universe speaks a single language, a language of geometry, proportion, and harmony. And yet, this pattern is not static. It is alive, dynamic, breathing, evolving. Just like consciousness itself, meditating on mandalas or yantras is not about decoration. It is about syncing your mind with the universal rhythm, with the fractal heartbeat of existence. To see these patterns is to glimpse something profound. That the universe is not chaos. That life is not random. That perhaps every leaf, every neuron, every star, and every thought is a reflection of the same cosmic design. Sacred geometry is the bridge between spiritual insight and scientific observation. The fractals, the spirals, the golden ratio, all are whispers of the same truth. Order exists. Harmony exists. Patterns exist. And if we attune ourselves to them, perhaps we can live more consciously, more in tune with the universe itself. This exploration of nature's geometry reveals a deep underlying order. Yantra, the blueprint of consciousness. Close your eyes for a moment. Visualize a triangle, then another, interlocking perfectly. 9 in total, together forming 43 smaller triangles inside a larger design. At the center, a point, a dot, the bindu. In ancient Indian wisdom, this is the Sri Yantra. It is not just art. It is a map of the cosmos, a map of the human mind. Every triangle, every intersection, every concentric circle represents layers of consciousness, from the material to the subtle to the pure awareness beyond form. Meditating upon the Sri Yantra is not decoration. It is a journey through your own inner cosmos. And here is where modern science adds an astonishing perspective. When you meditate on geometric patterns like the Sri Yantra, your brain begins to synchronize. Theta waves increase. Gamma waves align. The neural circuits begin to form patterns that mirror the symmetry you are observing. Your mind becomes fractal. Your thoughts begin to resonate with the rhythm of the universe, what the ancient yogis understood intuitively. Science is now beginning to measure. Consciousness can align with geometry, with proportion, with pattern. It is as if the mind itself can tune in to the hidden structure of reality. And when that happens, something remarkable occurs. Stress melts away. Emotions settle. The sense of separation fades. You realize you are not merely observing the universe. You are a part of its pattern. The triangles, the spirals, the fractals exist both outside you and inside you. From the branching neurons in your brain to the spiral of your DNA to the distant galaxies in the night sky, the same design repeats. It is a cosmic rhythm, a geometric heartbeat, and the Sri Yantra is one of the few visual tools that allows humans to consciously perceive it. Mind focuses. The awareness expands. The inner self aligns with the outer universe, and suddenly, The idea that sacred geometry is mystical feels less like superstition and more like scientific observation through the lens of meditation. The wisdom of ancient India and the discoveries of modern science converge, both pointing to the same astonishing truth. The universe is patterned. Consciousness is fractal. We are part of an endless cosmic design. And meditation, geometry, and focus allow us to perceive it. Every spiral, every triangle, every golden ratio is a whisper of the universe, inviting us to see, to align, to understand. And in that moment, we feel what the ancients always knew. We are not separate. We are not random. We are geometry. We are consciousness. We are part of the infinite pattern itself. The universal symphony. Take a deep breath. Look around. Look within. Everything you see, everything you feel, is part of a design. The spirals of seashells, the symmetry of a flower, the interlocking triangles of a yantra, the branching of rivers and neurons alike. They are all notes in a universal symphony. From the smallest particle to the farthest galaxy, the universe is composed of repeating patterns. Patterns that are fractal, proportional, and harmonious. Patterns that the ancient sages called sacred. And now, modern science calls them mathematics. But perhaps it is not the name that matters. Perhaps it is the experience. When you meditate on a mandala or a yantra, or even observe a natural spiral, you begin to feel a connection, a resonance, a recognition that the universe is not separate from you. You are not a mere observer. You are a participant, a note in the cosmic symphony. Every breath you take, every thought you form, every heartbeat echoes the rhythm of the universe. And when you align your consciousness with these patterns, your mind settles. Your emotions balance. Your being expands. You begin to perceive the hidden intelligence behind all things, the geometry of life, the mathematics of nature, the sacred rhythm of existence. It is then that the mystery becomes clear. The universe is not chaotic. Life is not random. Consciousness is not confined to the brain. All is connected. All is designed. All is infinite. Repeating. Fractal. Sacred. And the final thought, perhaps the purpose of observing these patterns is not to understand the universe with logic alone. Perhaps it is to remember who we are. Not separate from nature. Not separate from life. Not separate from the cosmos. We are geometry. We are fractals. We are consciousness. And the universe is the most magnificent pattern of all. This concludes the exploration of the hidden geometry and circuitry of our existence.